Thanks, Abe. Our next guest is you'll get a little bit of a feel for who he is on this video. And Rory is also a GoPro ambassador. We're lucky enough to have him work with us and collaborate. Actually, he was really instrumental last year in our launch reel that we did for the Hero 6. Here's a little bit about Rory.
Yo, what's up? It's Rory. I call myself a professional life liver, videographer, photographer, work in the music industry.
Up, bud.
And grab that.
Right.
What's up?
I have to say that the car scene from last year and like doing the 360s was probably one of my favorite parts for the launch video, and the stuff that you've done that we had in the lake. I love it. I'm from the East Coast, and so those images just resonated with me and reminded me of being back there. We do tons of tropical shoots and tons of epic mountain shoots. So to bring stuff like that was really cool. You know, Abe and Rory, real quick, just Abe, I mentioned a little bit, but can you just talk about how you got to GoPro and how you got connected here?
Yeah, I'll try to do it quickly, but I think that video sort of demonstrates a little bit of my path, which was I was in college at USC. I was a mechanical engineer, but I was up skiing every single weekend. I helped run our ski team at USC, and my kind of goal was building the ski team as this sort of like personal business kind of thing, and so I started a YouTube channel, and I wanted people to understand, just at school, I was like, hey, there's a bunch of people skiing in LA, and we're actually like pretty good at skiing. We won the national championship 2 years in a row for freestyle, which was pretty cool. But like nobody on campus knew about the ski team, and then they found out, and they're like, what, you guys ski in LA? So I started this YouTube channel just to kind of get the word out, and GoPro gave us 2 of their original cameras. This is before HD or anything. They weren't that great of quality, but it was like sort of an eye-opening experience where I no longer have to hold this camera in my hand. I could just strap it to my head, and now we can do backflips next to each other, and I don't even have to think about it. And then one thing led to another, graduated. They asked if I wanted to come work for them. GoPro was like 15 people back then. And I was like, I don't know. It's like, I don't really know about GoPro. And I studied mechanical engineering. And then I ended up just living in Mammoth for 6 months. And I filmed every single day. And it was like this one time where the only thing I focused on was skiing and filming and learning as much as I could. And by the end of it, I'm like, this is where my passion is. And I moved out to San Francisco. This is now 8 years. Started at GoPro, and I've been there ever since. And now I'm Senior Creative Director of GoPro for our media team. So if you've ever seen videos on our YouTube channel, the launch videos for like Hero 3, 4, 5, 6, I had a pretty good hand in all of those. And we have a huge team of creators, awesome creators from around the world. But yeah, it's been a really fun journey, and I think that video is kind of like just from sort of home video-esque ski stuff into kind of traveling around the world and using GoPro, and you can kind of see how the technology has progressed over the years. Things get more vivid and lifelike, and now experimenting with 360 and the new GoPro Fusion, it's kind of like this crazy new eye-opening experience for me, which is awesome.
Yeah. And Rory, you've done some amazing work with Justin Bieber, the Chainsmokers, but what was your path to, like, one of the things that I'm fascinated about with social media is, and vlogging and all this, is it gives the opportunity for the creator to also step out from behind the camera and be seen. Can you tell us a little bit about your path and how you got to where you are today?
So we got 38 minutes, all right. How do I squeeze all this in? Basically, long story short, when I was 15, Jackass was on TV. I was big into Blink-182, and they had like a tour video called the Urethra Chronicles. And it was just like, it showed their personality, and I was into that kind of stuff, and I was from a small town. Took my parents' VHS camera and started like doing skits, doing stunts, and like filming it, and then got into editing. And fast forward to like when I moved to LA, I just knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but you couldn't really make a living off videos the way I wanted to. And that's whenever I saw like Abe's stuff on Instagram and through GoPro. And it was just, like when I first got a GoPro, that's how I found out about him. And it just showed me like the cool stuff that he was doing. I was like, yo, I literally like, used to send him emails. I'd be like, yo, man, I'll do your laundry if you can like get me a job at GoPro. And like, I was like, this is gonna be awkward if I ever meet him one day. Because like he never responded to those emails, but he's aware of it. And so,
Is Abe doing your laundry now?
Yeah. But no, that was just kind of the path, is like just recognizing like the things I was into and like the other talents out there that was like just showed me, like opened my eyes that like this could be a potential thing. And then just being in the launch reel last year was like super like, I don't know, just felt really cool to be a consumer of like a product just because I liked capturing moments, and then to grow and build and be a part of something that allowed you to kind of like figure out who you are and like what you like to do and express yourself and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, that was a big for us last year. It was that video, our Hero 6 launch video, we put a lot of emphasis on our creators and our ambassadors and really relied on them, people like Rory, to go out and capture these moments, create these pieces that we ended up putting into the video. And a lot of that was, well, I mean, percentage-wise, it was overwhelming.
Yeah, and I would say for that one, it was kind of the shift of, hey, we don't just need to focus on sports athletes to show what GoPro can offer the everyday person. I think there's a lot in travel and advocates that are just doing cool stuff that doesn't necessarily have to be super extreme, but you can kind of see how it's a really immersive, engaging experience to capture that kind of stuff, and the imagery sucks people in. And so that's kind of what we found with shooting GoPro with people like Rory, and it's just like a really easy way to capture your experience kind of passively, where you're not like pointing a camera at somebody, you're just strapping a camera to yourself, and suddenly we see from your perspective like what's happening.
Yeah. So you mentioned you started off with VHS, and I just recently noticed, looks like you went back to VHS. Can you talk a little bit about the type, like when you're looking at camera technology and you're looking to tell a story, how you like pick, what motive, what inspires you?
I think it comes with finding like a lot of success and people like putting you on a pedestal and praising your work, and then people having their opinion of your work, whether it's, maybe you might not like a video, but to like publicly bash it and stuff, like it always just affected me. And it was just because this is what I like to do. I'm not trying to like do something, I don't know. And like just using those kind of technologies kind of brought me back of why I started in the first place, was about capturing a moment versus like having a polished shot or this. Like right now, like if I'm saying something that's really valuable or whatever, like if all you have is your phone and you want to have that moment, like that's the importance versus like setting up something so extravagant. And like that's what GoPro allowed me to do, was go on these adventures, and whether it was just me, like I could always get that shot, so I could be like, oh, like check out this photo, or this is what I was talking about. So it just allowed me to like express myself and decipher like what was real and what wasn't. Nice,
right on. The great thing about GoPro we've been hitting on is the immersiveness of it. The immersiveness of 360 is taking things to even a new level. Abe, can you talk a little bit about, obviously you've had the advantage of working at GoPro and being able to not only like use our Fusion, but the spherical rigs that we had before. Can you just talk a little bit about how the evolution of 360 so far, have you seen it, and what it means for storytelling?
Yeah, so the 360 story has been kind of an interesting one, because I don't think I would have ever gotten into it if I wasn't working for GoPro. It's kind of one of those things where you're like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not really for me. I kind of have my zone. So I used like the 6-camera rig a couple times, and it was interesting, but I think until I started using Fusion, that's when my eyes were kind of open to the opportunity of 360 and what it offered. And the really unique thing was, I think with GoPro, it was this first shift from sort of like the traditional camera to now I can just strap it to myself. And I think I'm feeling the same thing with 360 as I had that transition, where like, yes, there's all these really new camera technologies of like the Sonys and GH5, but it's still kind of the same thing. It's just better and it's better slow motion, but you're still like setting up a shot or pointing it somewhere, where 360 is this first thing where this is a completely new way to capture things, and I'm getting experiences and immersiveness that I haven't gotten before. That being said, the whole like experiencing things in 360, and I don't think we're there yet in terms of the display technology and people adopting sort of that move your phone around.
Right.
But I am very much into the idea of using a 360 camera as a capture device to capture experiences and then cropping it to a traditional format and doing the sort of storytelling later.
We have that. That's the technology for GoPro that we call over capture, and you can do it with other 360 technologies too. And I think we've got or hopefully as I click this, we've got an example of that. Let me see here. Can you tell us a little bit about this right here?
So this is just me being excited skiing down a run. It's mounted to my head, but the Fusion, it stabilizes everything. So you don't have to have a gimbal or anything. So this is just on my head.
You can see it protruding the shadow there, but maybe real quick, when you look at that shot, you don't see the bar.
Yeah, so the Fusion automatically takes out whatever mounts in it, just the way that the lenses have the parallax. So it's kind of like this disappearing, floating, drone-like camera. We'll finish. It finishes in a second, then I can talk about it.
I would have already hit a tree by now, for sure.
Cool. So I think the thing with 360 capture that I've really realized is you can sort of capture experiences that otherwise it's such an immersive thing to capture. And I think when you pull out your phone and you point a phone in somebody's face, or you're kind of doing that thing, like people react much more differently than, I just don't think we're trained that if you see a 360 camera, it's like, doesn't look like a camera. It's got lenses on either side, but you can't really tell if it's filming. So I've been able to capture really authentic experiences, like really authentic immersive experiences, not just like action sports, but putting it in the middle of a table or just holding it. And you don't even think about where the orientation is, because it's always self-stabilizing. Everything's perfectly smooth once you put it on your phone or onto the computer. And so like I just went to Hong Kong, and the whole time I just had my Fusion with me and I was walking around. I don't think I ever pulled out my phone to like do Instagram stories or anything. I just captured Fusion, and then later I would just go and kind of see what we captured, and it's just my friends and I interacting, and all of the moments that were happening seemed that much more immersive, and it was that much more in the moment, where you're capturing things that you would never have captured before because you're not thinking about the camera that's there. And it's like this first thing that I've experienced where I'm just kind of setting the camera and letting it go, and then seeing what you get later. And I think there's definitely trade-offs, because you're no longer doing the artistic, like, let me compose a shot, and there's a lot to be said about that, like the artistry of that. But if you're really after capturing the most raw, immersive emotions and experiences of people, I think the 360 has a lot to offer in that situation.
Yeah, and that's right up your alley, Rory, like as you were talking about, like you like the raw moments, it's not so much about being polished.
I mean, I got into doing videos because I like being in front of the camera, but I was the one that, like, of my friend group that put in the time and got good at it. And so sometimes you get caught up in like trying to get a shot that what he's saying, you don't get to be in the moment. And I think what with like the 360, like the Fusion, is like what's cool about it, it allows you to relax and get into that moment versus getting so consumed and like thinking about this, where at the end of it you're watching the footage and you only remember it from that perspective, rather than, oh, this is a cool thing, like rather than just being so consumed in the camera.
I know, like as just a regular average consumer, what excites me about the 360 is this over capture, this ability to go, it's less about putting the VR goggles on, less about doing that. That's cool, and the fact that you can do that, maybe 5 years from now, I'm gonna appreciate that even more, but it's being able to capture everything, and like you said, like anything where you don't have to think about it and just capture and be in the moment is great. We had talked about IGTV, obviously big news, and and you were bringing up a couple cool points, Abe, about the benefit of actually shooting with Fusion for IGTV.
Yeah, so I think that's actually good timing that IGTV was announced the other day, but everyone's like, oh shoot, now do we take our cameras and turn them vertical, or do we do it horizontal? And like if I'm filming my camera, am I just gonna do a crop of a horizontal? With 360 capture, the orientation of your frame is picked later, so it doesn't matter. So everything that I've already shot and even edited in Premiere and stuff, I can just change the frame size, and then because it's 360, it pulls from all directions. So all of a sudden, I can spit out a vertical IGTV in 3 minutes, and then it's like a full video that I had made for YouTube, and I'm not cropping in, I'm not losing information, I still have the scenes that I picked. Yeah. If I want, I can do a little bit of reorientation, so I can get some more on the bottom, more on the top. But yeah, I think it's a really good thing to be filming with, because it's kind of future-proof. Like you're filming these scenes, apart from, obviously the resolution is gonna get better over time, but you're capturing these scenes, and in the future, if 360 immersive VR becomes a thing, you've got that. If you just wanna do a punch-out, you've got that. And then if you just wanna capture your own feelings and your emotions, you can turn it around and you can see what you're doing as well, or if you just put it somewhere else. The other thing I wanted to say about 360 is, in the moment, I've realized that I'm spending much less time with the camera, because I'm not worried about where it's pointed, because it's pointed in all directions. So even when I'm skiing and stuff, I just strap it on, hit go, and I'm not even thinking about it. Even with the GoPro, and that I've done it so much, I still will pull my helmet off and then look at the framing and kind of get it. And I'm like, hold on guys. And I feel like Fusion is the first thing where I'm just fully immersed in the moment, and I'm just hitting record and not even thinking about it, because I know that I can do that work later. Obviously that's more of like, if you're a creative storyteller and you're gonna put in the time later, that's kind of where it comes into play. It'll get easier with the tools over time. Right now it's a bit of a flow.
Yeah. And I know, like for me, I'm not a creator the way you guys are. Like yeah. I loved iMovie, and that was the extent of my editing skills. But one of the cool things that we have for the over capture for our app is I can just hold my phone up and record what I want to record. And that, for me as an average consumer, is pretty cool. Yeah. IGTV though, going back, because I think it's really fascinating. We were talking a little bit earlier. Rory, have you had a chance to play around with it, even check it out yet? Like, do you have any thoughts?
No, I've not. I'm still in the same clothes that I've been in for 4 days. I have showered and like brushed my teeth and all that, but like, I don't know, I don't want to do laundry, so I put on the same shorts, same t-shirt, because I've been like editing this like my personal video, and I don't have much time to do that, so.
Haven't had a chance.
I haven't had a chance to like really dive into it. I mean, I hear about it and sounds awesome, but it's yeah.
What's next for you, Rory? Both like project-wise and as you see like technology-wise, like what are you excited about?
I'm excited to go home for 4th of July. I leave tonight to go to Ireland, Ibiza, Morocco. Wow. Sounds awesome, but I leave, get there Sunday, do a show. Yeah. Show Sunday, Monday in Ibiza, Tuesday Morocco, back in LA on Wednesday. So it's gonna be like one of those things like, I see you and I want to go explore, but it'll be fun. And then I get to go home for I think like 2 weeks. Yeah. And go see family and hang out with friends, and I don't know what's next. I've been kind of going through that phase for like the last 6 months. I had like a knee surgery. I tore my ACL. And I've just kind of accomplished a lot with what I wanted to with video. And so now it's like, what's next? Because I don't want to ever get in that routine of where you just get comfortable and do the same thing. I always want to be pushing myself. Kind of like I had a 9 to 5 that I did for 4.5 years where it was cool, but it was like I let it, like I just stay there too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always want to, I'm trying to figure out what's next in the sense of that stimulates me creatively.
So that kind of brings up, I want to make sure that we leave some time for questions, but that one of the things that I asked you guys maybe to think about is like, what advice do you have for creators out there, aspiring creators? Like, talk about like, obviously work hard, passion and follow your dreams is key to, you know, to everything. Is there any other piece of advice that you would give? Like you were, you know, I think you were just hitting upon like you've always pushed yourself. Like you were in the 9 to 5.
I think what the thing to not like get caught up in and like what? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Is just to remember why you're doing it in the first place.
Right.
You know, if your dream is to make videos, like what's stopping you?
Yeah.
You know, is your dream of making videos associated with millions of people seeing it, having lots of followers, or like what's the real reason you're doing it? And in my journey, I've experienced a little bit of both. I've had that success where you get consumed, you get lost in like what you're doing, and you kind of like, where he was saying, like you're not like immersed in the moment and like fully present there, that you got to remember why you're creating and always take a step back. And you know, whether people are putting pressure on you or you've put pressure on yourself, that you got to just be like, yo, like, I love making videos. Why is it stressing me out? Or something like that. So don't get caught up in like what other people might make you think it, or what these expectations are like, oh, to make videos, I have to reach a certain level to feel accomplished. Where it's like, you should be creating because it satisfies you. It makes you want to be happy, explore, meet new people, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Abe, what about you?
It's a big question. I think there's a lot of answers. But I think for me, one of the things that I've recognized with other successful creators is you kind of find your niche, and it's staying true to that. I mean, for me, it was kind of like ski filming with GoPro. And if somebody needed to find, like they knew who to go to if they needed a skier to go off jumps and film. But the same thing when I'm looking for people out there that I need. I think people rise up in their own little areas. There's so much noise, so it's good that if you have, like for Rory, for example, in the music industry, I think you, with your personality, combined with your extreme talent in editing and filming, you're somebody that just rises up very quickly in that you have your space and you own it. And I think that's really important, to own your space, staying true to who you are and what you're passionate about, obviously. But I think that's something that I've noticed with a lot of creators that are successful, is they know where they stand in their space and they own it.
Cool. Very cool.
Real quick before I forget, now that I keep just looking at all your awesome photos right here. If you guys don't know Abe, you guys should check him out. I've been following him for like 7 years now, and it's definitely been like a huge inspiration to like where, like literally be a huge part of like why I'm even sitting here, like getting to do what I do, because like I've seen his work, and like he's like a consistent filmmaker and creative in the sense of not only pushing himself, pushing a brand like GoPro, but like his website, you should check it out. Every time like a new camera comes out, or you have any questions about, oh, like I'm interested in the Fusion, or I'm interested in GoPro, like he has all these tutorials, and I literally, yeah, I'm successful, established as a filmmaker, but I always go to his site when these products come out, because it literally has, like, it can teach you everything about it, and there's a lot of good information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
100%.
Thank you, Rory. Thank you, Abe, so much
Yeah,
for coming
thanks.
up. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thanks, dude. Yeah.